Hello all you film freaks and movie maniacs out there. My name is Nolan Carr and I'd like to welcome you to the go-to podcast for all things cinema. But before you can ask any questions, just sit back, relax, as I present to you a Straw Lane Studio Productions Critiquing with Carr. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another great edition of the show, a milestone edition of the show. As always, if you've enjoyed episodes such as this one, do us a favor by subscribing on YouTube, following us on the audio platforms, clicking a thumbs up or like button so you can tell us you enjoy these episodes, turning on post notifications so you can stay up to date when episodes release on those platforms, as well as clicking at share out so you can continue to grow the podcast with all your friends and family. Also, if you want always to stay up to date with the show, do us a favor by following us on Instagram at Critiquing with Carr. I say all of this because on this week's milestone edition, the 70th episode of Favorite Film Friday, we're discussing the classic film, The Dark Knight Rises. And with that being said, my friends, let's begin. This movie was directed, co-produced, and co-written by Christopher Nolan. The screenplay was also co-written by his brother Jonathan Nolan. The story was also by Christopher Nolan and David S. Goyer. The characters in this movie were based off characters in the comic books by DC Comics. The film was also co-produced by Emma Thompson and Charles Roven, and the cast for this movie is as follows: Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Gary Oldman, Anne Hathaway, Tom Hardy, Marion Cotillard, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Morgan Freeman. The cinematography in this film was done by Wally Pfister. The movie was edited by Lee Smith. The musical score for this film was done by the maestro Hans Zimmer. The production companies for this film were Warner Bros. Pictures, Legendary Pictures, DC Entertainment, and Syncope. This movie was distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. This film was released on July 26th of 2012 in New York City, as well as on July 20th of 2012 in the United States and the United Kingdom. The runtime for this movie was 164 minutes. The budget for this film was between 250 and 300 million US dollars, and the box office total for this grand movie was a whopping 1.085 billion US dollars. And the short list of accolades for this film are as follows. And at the Saturn Awards, Anne Hathaway won for Best Supporting Actress. As always, it is now time for one of my favorite two parts, which is I list off the top 10 highest grossing films for that year's release, being 2012's The Dark Knight Rises. Coming in at number 10 on this list was Men in Black 3. It was distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. Its worldwide gross is $654.2 million. It stars Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, and Josh Brolin. Coming in at number 10 on this list was The Hunger Games. It was distributed by Lionsgate. Its worldwide gross is $695.2 million. It stars Jennifer Lawrence, Josh Hutcherson, and Liam Hemsworth. Coming in at number 8 on this list was Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. It was distributed by Paramount Pictures. Its worldwide gross is $746.9 million. It stars Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, and David Schwimmer. Coming in at number 7 on this list was The Amazing Spider-Man. It was distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. Its worldwide gross is $758 million. It stars Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, and Rhys Ifans. Coming in at number 6 on this list was Twilight Zone Breaking Dawn 2. It was distributed by Summit Entertainment. Its worldwide gross is $848.6 million. It stars Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson, and Taylor Lautner. Coming in number 5 at the halfway mark of this list was Ice Age Continental Drift. It was distributed by 20th Century Fox. Its worldwide gross is $877 million. It stars Ray Romano, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Leary. Coming in at number 4 on this list was The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. It was distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. Its worldwide gross is $1.017 billion. It stars Ian McKellen and Martin Freeman. Coming in at number 3 on this list was The Dark Knight Rises. It was distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. Its worldwide gross is $1.085 billion. It stars Christian Bale, Michael Caine, and Gary Oldman. Coming in at number 2 on this list was Skyfall. It was distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. Its worldwide gross is $1.09 billion. It stars Daniel Craig, Javier Bardem, and Ralph Fiennes. And finally, coming in at number 1 as the highest grossing film for 2012 was The Avengers. It was distributed by Walt Disney Studios. Its worldwide gross is $1.52 billion. It stars Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and Mark Ruffalo. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, my review of 2012's The Dark Knight Rises. From the very start of the film, I was intrigued by Bane's introduction in The Dark Knight Rises. The film does a great job of setting him up as a formidable antagonist right from the get-go. His presence is commanding, and his unique voice and imposing physicality make him a standout villain. John Daggett, while primarily a pawn in Bane's grand scheme, is an interesting villain in his own right. His ambitions and eventual betrayal are compelling, even if his American accent leaves something to be desired. The departure of Alfred from Bruce's life is a deeply emotional moment. Alfred's fear for Bruce's safety and his subsequent decision to leave are portrayed with a great deal of sensitivity. While the romance between Bruce Wayne and Miranda Tate develops quickly, it feels somewhat rushed. The chemistry between the characters is evident, but the rapid progression of the relationship can seem forced. This aspect of the film could have benefited from more development to enhance its believability. One of the standout lines from Bane about the dark has become iconic in cinema.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but blinding.
It captures his character's philosophy and adds a memorable, almost philosophical dimension to his villainy. This line has resonated with audiences and solidifies Bane's role as a memorable antagonist. The scenes of Bane taking over Wayne Enterprises and causing widespread destruction, including the football stadium explosion, are thrilling and impactful. These moments highlight Bane's sheer power and his ability to disrupt Gotham on a massive scale. This portrayal of Bane's villainy is both visually striking and narratively significant. The twist revealing Miranda Tate as Talia al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, is a well-executed plot development. The revelation adds depth to the story and connects the film to its predecessor, enriching the overarching narrative of the trilogy. Catwoman's evolution from a petty criminal to a hero is a satisfying arc. Her transformation and eventual role as an ally to Batman adds complexity to her character and contributes to the film's overall narrative progression. Also, Joseph Gordon-Levitt delivers a stand-up performance as John Blake. His portrayal adds depth to the film, and his character's development is both engaging and essential to the story. The film's climax, involving the evacuation of Gotham and the countdown to the bomb's detonation, is intense and suspenseful. The stakes are high, and the tension is palpable. Batman's ultimate action to neutralize the threat is both heroic and fitting for the character. In conclusion, The Dark Knight Rises stands as a compelling conclusion to the Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. While it may not surpass the sheer brilliance of The Dark Knight, it offers a satisfying and well-crafted ending to the saga. The film excels in its acting performances, particularly from Bale, Freeman, Hardy, and Hathaway. The pacing and narrative structure are strong, and the film maintains a consistent level of engagement throughout its lengthy runtime. This film remains a standout entry in the superhero genre and a fitting end to a memorable trilogy. With all that's been said today about this movie, The Dark Knight Rises, I'm both proud and privileged to give this great film, a 8.5 out of 10 on the Diamond Dave scale. And with that being said, my Film Freaks and Cinephiles, if you've enjoyed this week's edition of the show, this wonderful edition of Favorite Film Friday, do us a favor by subscribing on YouTube, following us on the audio platforms, clicking the thumbs up or like button so you can tell us you enjoy these episodes, turning on post notifications so you can stay up to date when episodes released on those platforms, as well as clicking at share out so you can help continue to grow the podcast with all your friends and family. Also, if you want other ways of staying up to date with the show, do us a favor by following us on Instagram at Critique with Carr. And with that being said, my Film Freaks and Cinephiles, take care, and as always, happy viewing.